Hello, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Andy Serling, soon to be joined by Anthony Stabile. 9-race card here today. We sped up post time just a little bit in the later part of the Porsche card, maybe a total of 10 minutes, nothing that'll affect things greatly. You can check out the NYRA Twitter account, though, if you want those exact post times. Anyhow, head over to NYRA Bets. If you're not a member of NYRA Bets, we'll match up to $200 deposit bonus. Use the promo code Big A. And we believe that this promo involves race number 11 at Gulfstream. We like to keep that a mystery. Why would you want to tell people what race it is?
Promoted this on the Weekend Stakes preview last night.
You can keep it a mystery. But apparently it's the Sunshine Millions Classics, which we believe is race number 11 at Gulfstream. $20 win bet on your pick. If it finishes second, you get it back. Anthony, we got 9 to talk about.
Let's do it.
You ready to get to work?
Yes,
race
sir.
number 1. I'm going to tell you in race number 1, I didn't feel very confident of anybody in this race. I'm guessing that you went for the old speed angle with Judith Cougar.
I did. Judith Cougar, fresh gelding outside. Gerald Seymour, the trainer, we've seen him now the last couple of winters here at the Big A. Bringing in Daisuke Fukumoto.
You know this list is a gelding in your form?
This is the fresh gelding came up.
See, in the original PPs that I got, it's listed as a colt and doesn't have the gelding listing, which is yet another reason I could go on a rant for 5 minutes why they need to stop doing that. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
But that was it. I mean, like you said, there's not really anything to have any confidence in or sink your teeth into in here. A little bit of a fresh face, a little bit of speed.
Handle synthetic. I mean, handle dirt.
Well, that was the other part. The other part of it was I am, doing the afternoon show, the Red Brand Radio Show on HRN. I am a big fan of Cantheros as a sire. And he's going to hit. We don't see a lot of them here.
He's a big fan of you.
He loves me. Yeah, he loves the Big A. And he's going to get to the dirt. They do everything. So I don't.
Yeah, but you're going to have to assume. And listen, I'm not dismissing this horse either. But you're going to have to assume that the horse improves in the dirt.
No question about it. Oh yeah.
And that's a bit of a concern.
Okay.
The horse may be able to handle different surfaces, but to assume he's going to be better on dirt. That's the problem. That's
we'll
why
find out at 6 to 1, though, right? I mean, he's got to be a middling price in here.
I agree with you. He should be 5 to 6 to 1 here. I agree, and he makes sense there. I just went to the 3 Fortune Found. The 2 logical horses here, the 3 Fortune Found, and the 4 Skipping on the Orchard. I just thought Skipping on the Orchard would be a bit of a shorter price in here, and I don't know. The horse didn't really do much running first time out, gets Lasix, whatever that's worth. And at least Fortune Found will find a dry track for the first time. I don't think it's possible to have a strong opinion in this race.
Agreed.
Even Tipazzo the 6, who gets a big rider switch to Eric Cancel, I don't think he should be dismissed for trainer Mitch Friedman in here.
You know what I'm going to tell you about? What I'll tell you about him is it concerns me that his 2 races on the muddy track are much better than any of the fast track. I mean, he got beat some long ways.
But there's a big difference between a muddy sealed track and the muddy Harrow track on January 5th, the track that closer to good, I think, and I'm not really sure. You could be right, but I'm not really sure about that. We'll see what the case is. Race number 2. So yesterday you weren't concerned about wet tracks, but today you're back to overplaying your hand on it. Yesterday there were a whole slew of horses that had not run well on sloppy tracks, that were getting fast tracks, and they'd run well on flat, and you just ignored them all. But today you're going to get back to that minutia of trying to figure that out. Yeah, no, I'm just checking because it was true yesterday. Like maybe Friday is a day where you don't care about that nonsense. Right, okay. I'll remember that going forward.
Okay.
Race number 2, I thought the horse to beat, the horse you have on top, the 3 Yankee division. We'll go back to race 2 back. Winning by a nose. This might not have been a horse that liked the muddy seal track.
Yeah, exactly. That's what. I'll tell you what. If you plan on backing him today, you better hope that was the case because.
Well, no, I'm going to say something else. That was a pace that completely evaporated also. So the dynamics were against him last time as well. Now, the other problem is, I don't know if he's the speed today, though.
I would assume, and again, I would think both Quintarelli and Jack Bowe have a little more speed than this horse.
What about Invest? You don't think that Manny Franco's going to be aggressive with Invest?
Yeah, I mean, he could be. I wonder though if you see horses like a horse like Quintarelli from the rail coming out of the sprints who has shown speed multiple times. If you just
kind of been in front in a race yet?
He put see this. Did he see this quick yesterday?
Well, he figured to be in front.
I mean, you don't. I mean, stretching out. I think this horse is supposed to be on the lead today.
That's fair.
from the rail. You know,
So
I think he's going to
what I'm
try and
making
leave.
is, I don't know that Yankee Division is going to get that trip
Okay.
he may want in the front end. And the only time he won was
Was
in
on
the front
lead.
end.
Yeah, you make a great point.
I like the 6 Jack Bow in this race, and I'm not sure it's a wet track thing because he has handled wet tracks before. At the end of the day, he was just in way too tough last time. He had no shot against those horses last time, and I think a very reasonable drop for these connections. I'm not familiar with the trainer, but the horse ran fine 2 races back, and I just thought this horse would be in a good spot, stalking the speeds, and just a very logical horse. I don't know, I'm going to get 6-1. Seems a little optimistic, but I thought in the 4-1 range, this horse was very fair.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't like Invest. I don't want Invest. He wins, I lose.
Okay, fair enough.
He can win.
Fair enough.
It's not like you're in love with him either.
No, I'm not. I'm absolutely not. But again, it was really hard to have any kind of. I think you have to use my old Finger Lakes hang. I mean, I think True Blue Giant is a horse.
How's that working for you? Has a Finger Lakes horse won yet?
No, but yeah. Well, the Ralphie D and Gumster, the horse that ran second to Joe Smoking Gun, came back.
Well, he'd
and
already
won.
run here.
Yeah, that still means he's a Finger Lakes horse.
No, not really.
No, one race doesn't really give us claim, does it? Yeah.
His one race in New York was good.
I don't know.
So he was the one horse from Finger Lakes that ran well.
I just fresh.
Sort of like that Dom
Let me ask you a
off the
question.
turf, 8
You
to
really
5
want?
shot.
You really want to die on any hill in this race?
No, I want to bet Jack Bow.
Okay. I'm using Jack Bow.
Race number 3. Race number 3 has that issue that I hate in racing. I made a bet on Quixotic last time out, and Quixotic was possibly best in here. A little trouble, sort of, I don't know, if changing leads or sort of coming through on the inside, sort of hesitated a bit. Maybe being down inside, maybe he just was behind horses, taking some kickback. Quixotic ran a winning race, was a big price. The problem I have was, this was a bad field. This was a maiden special weight, that was maiden claimer, I should say, that was masquerading as a maiden special. The horse leaning on him a little bit. There are situations where he could have won this race. He's the horse to beat today, but I just feel like a good firster will beat him.
Okay.
A decent firster even.
Yeah, I mean, I think this horse with the outside draw is going to. I think he's going to improve because, like you said,
maybe he was geared up to win first time.
I'm not 100% sure this horse was as comfortable. You know, most
Why
horses
should he improve
aren't.
second time? Maybe he was geared up to win first time. Don't a lot of horses that run
Most
well first
horses,
time out
yeah,
come back
but-
and not run as well in their
but-
second starts?
but I would think more horses improve than don't.
I'm not so sure of that.
Yeah, I would think more horses improve
I
than
don't, but-
And he gets a little post relief. He's outside
The ones
now.
that run badly improve.
He's got the experience.
I think the ones that run well don't always run back to it. I think you want horses that needed the race, they got education, etc. I'm not sure. This horse was ready to win first time.
It's funny you brought that up. Let's just say, for argument's sake, let's say this horse has minimal improvement. You think one of these firsters is going to run a 70 today?
I don't know. That's a very reasonable point. I'm not going to argue that.
I don't think so.
You've got a $270,000 Zayat horse on the outside. That's a first foal. The dam is a half division heir who won the King's Bishop, now known as the Alan Jerkins, because Tale of Akati didn't run in there. I'm going to look at a couple other firsters. I thought the workout in Warfront Fighter, the firster for Gary Gullo, was pretty impressive. Horse worked 10 to 5th, a bit erratic earlier, went pretty easily. I thought this horse had a nice way of going. I thought Betts was interesting. The Dam of Betts was a horse that ran at Emerald Downs. She's produced 3 horses that were solid runners. And the sires were Uncle Mo, Escandaria, and Painter. So while it's an Uncle Mo, it's not like this horse has had like tremendous sires. So I think Bodemeister sort of falls into line in that category. And I thought Betts might be kind of interesting as well. So I'm going to use all 3, 5, and 6.
Okay.
You've got Michelle Nevin second with the first,
Yeah,
or a homebred?
I don't know. I had a tough time trying to mill through these. Do
you remember the Dam of 12th Man? Dam of 12th Man finished second behind Royal Delta in the 2012 Breeders' Cup Distaff. She won almost $1 million. She's a very nice runner. Her first foal, it's her second foal, her first foal could not run at all. But the Dam herself was a pretty good runner, though. She was a little better with more distance.
Okay.
You know what I noticed? We're not running any 5.5 furlong races, are we?
I haven't seen any.
We used to run some. I mean, I'm not objecting, by the way, but right? We haven't run any.
I haven't
You
seen
see them
any.
occasionally, right? I don't feel like we've had any.
We have some of them. I want to say that Holy Matrimony broke the maiden last year, going 5.5, maybe.
Yeah, I think we used to run more. Maybe we got tired of the times looking like they were 6 furlong races. Race number 4.
Saturday too. Still fired
We'll
up.
take a look at Chief Know-It-All,
Okay.
who is going to win this race if he runs maybe any of his last 3 races. This is him winning at Saratoga 3 back. I don't know the story, and it may not even be relevant, but we were doing some research, looking up David Aragona was helpful with this. This horse has a voided claim in his last start. The Equibase chart says the claim was void because of a positive test based on a blood horse story that David found, right?
Yep.
He tested positive for a Class C drug. We don't know what it means. We're not implying anything. We just wanted to give information or anything. But I guess when that happens, the guy who claims the horse has the option whether or not he wants to void the claim. And in this case, the guy did void the claim. He could have had the horse. You've got a horse that's got great form. Danny comes back in 2 months, runs it back for 12.5. There are a lot of things that say to you, I don't want to bet this horse at 6-5, while knowing full well if he runs his race, he's going to win.
I couldn't find anybody. I mean, it boils down to this. This horse was 4 for 7 last year, and he's running in a race against horses who, for the most part, just don't like to win anymore. Horses that used to win races, like the horse you're taking a little shot with today in Mills. I mean,
I know he hasn't won a race in over 2 years.
He hasn't won a race, you know what I mean? So you have a horse that wins on average last year every other start, and he's running against horses.
But he's going to be 4-5.
He might be shorter than that.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, well,
Daddy DT's going to take some money.
Yeah.
I don't want Daddy DT going 9 furlongs.
I put him second, and I don't know if I want him going 9 furlongs. I agree.
I think horses like Calculated Risk are dangerous. I know he's in bad form, but when you start dropping down to these lower levels, these horses have a way of showing up and running their better races. Listen, I
wonder if a horse like Tour de Force, and this is a horse who has some back races that would be more than, I mean, not even competitive in here. He has back races that would just flat out win this race. And I wonder if Eric Cancel, who's been a little more aggressive lately, can just be. I probably should have put this horse second.
Well, he's going to the lead.
And just see if he can just jack him out of there.
But he's coming off a race which was a very, very dubious race.
Yeah.
On a track that was pretty kind to speed.
His style. I don't disagree with you.
And he stopped.
Yep.
And now he's running. I know he's dropping.
So a week later.
Let me ask you a question. He's ran for 25 last time. He's running for 12.5 today. If you didn't see the claiming prices, which field would you say was tougher? I don't think it's close.
Nope.
By the way, I think that's my 3rd great point of the day.
Yep.
Hold on. A lot of great points for flight. You had one.
I didn't give it to you. I gave you one earlier on the show and 2 downstairs. So this would technically be 4.
It is funny about class things because, I'm sorry, and I know a lot of people that play or follow the game very closely. You look back at that field. You didn't see these prices. You'd say that was the 12.5 and this was the 25, right?
No question.
Which makes Mills' drop not as significant. I wasn't going to have the courage to pick Mills at first, but he was the other horse for me. I can't trust Chief Know-It-All at a short price, and it's not about the positive last time as much.
I understand.
It is about Danny's a smart guy.
2 months.
Running him back for 12.5. He has been begging people to take this horse. He's begging, and this horse is going to probably get claimed today.
In the day and age we live in, right? He claims this horse for 12.5. He wins the 16 Keeneland. The Churchill purse for 16 could have been 40 at this point, for all we know. So he's claiming this horse, and you know what I mean? He runs him back in here. If he wins and gets claimed, it's another 30,000.
He just feels like one of those horses that you won't be at all surprised when he wins. He's going to be an A.
And you won't be surprised if he's 5th.
But he feels like the kind of horse I just don't want to pick. Race number 5.
Fair enough.
Race number 5, we could probably spend the rest of the show talking about. We'll start
something.
with a video that involves 7 is Heaven and Leap to Glory. This is a race that does have a lot of speed, and that's supposed to help 7 Heaven. The thing is, how much better of a setup is he going to get than he got last time?
He can't.
And he couldn't get it done. And Leap to Glory ran an unbelievable race last time, doing the whole way and never giving up. He never gave an inch. Boy, was he supposed to win last time. Now, the problem with Leap to Glory, and I have him on top, is he needs to rate to win. What I like is he's got a race in his PPs where he rated comfortably and still won, albeit at a short price, but he still was able to rate and win. I think that's important. And the way Junior's riding after his 4 wins yesterday,
great job
great
job
confidence.
yesterday.
He's putting horses in all the right spots. I'm going to take him again, but man, is this a hard race.
I'll tell you what, speaking very quickly to that point, he rode Jovia yesterday. I know it was 2-1, class horse coming back. He put Jovia in a brilliant spot.
Kind of figured to be in that
spot. But I'm just saying,
okay, wait, let's stick with this.
Yeah, he gave the horse a good ride.
I do have your horse, Morgantown, second. Why don't you talk about it?
Well, I just, I was between putting Morgantown and Bustin' Hoffman on top, and I realized that I don't think there's much separating the two of them, and Morgantown's going to be 3 times the price. So I want to take a little bit of a price. So what is your excuse
for his last race?
Well, I just think he needed I'm hoping he needed one off the break. He was chasing between horses. He got tired late, and he looked like a horse.
He was actually inside a horse.
Yeah, he looked like
he was actually inside.
Definitely a horse that needed a race, and now he's cutting back from the 6.5 to the 6. He's going to be right off the first speed, and I hope he gets first jump.
Obviously, I saw a lot of things similar to what you did, and I have him second at price. The concern with him is he's never run a race good enough. That's the concern.
Sure.
Now listen, the horse who ran it's a photo between Leap to Glory and this horse, Cool Boy. But boy, did Cool Boy run well last time. I know David liked him last time, and this was a brutal beat. Because, I mean, you watch him, he looks like he's going to get swallowed up. He never gives an inch. He's coming back on Big Engine, who they knew was going to run that day. Now, I think Beyer must feel like the track sped up a little bit, because you look at that race compared to Leap to Glory's race, and it's 4/5 faster, yet it only gets, about 2/5 or 50.5. So they must feel the track sped up a little, which is reasonable. But still, he ran very well, but he's got to deal with some spurious speed. You have to imagine Kendrick's going from the rail with Bust and Shout, putting blinkers on him. They got to be going.
There's a lot of speed signs.
But that horse did run very well. I left him out, but I'm scared of him.
He did.
There are a lot of horses that can win this race. I think Imaginar can win the 4. I think he was my 5th pick in here. Obviously, Cool Boy can win. Busted Hoffman, I don't disagree with you. I think that there's a lot going on in this race. A very, very interesting race.
And Busted Hoffman could be the one that gets the...
You have his game for it. You know what chance he has of winning this race? He has the same chance as Nosferatu does over there. How's he going to win?
Nosferatu.
Look at Ernie.
I got the whole
He looks like Ernie. Race number 6. Race number 6. I gave up in here.
Yep. You know what? It stinks that we have to use that term. I did the same. I took about 20 minutes trying to beat Saratoga Guido, and I decided I wasn't going to do it. That's what I did.
I just took the horse who's dropping down. Because I don't like anybody else in here. Let's take the replay of the Blue Belt race. I just don't want anybody out of this race.
No. I mean, and talk about pretty much getting a perfect trip and not being able to, and I know H-Man was game this day, but I mean, he's supposed to get the job done last time, isn't he? Blue Belt? I mean, I don't know. I like you, I kind of gave up in here. I guess We Should Talk's interesting. Gary's running the horse back a week after claiming him back from Rob Atras, and he's cutting back from the 7 to the 6, and it certainly looked like last Saturday that the 7 was trouble for him. And you and I had talked about it on the show, that maybe, he wasn't foolproof at the 7, cuts back, comes back in a week. Maybe he's the one. But I mean, Manifest Destiny's run too many bad races recently.
He wasn't terrible last time. He wasn't any good. He's supposed to like a wet track. I just thought Saratoga Hero might just be better than these horses. I just, one after the other, I just didn't really like them.
Hoping the best hops are dropping here.
I put 5-star Bunt in, second off the claim, dropping for Ray Handle. The problem is his win 2 back is phony. So I don't really trust him off of that race, but I had him second. I didn't have a clever idea in this race. I mean, I was probably going to use 7-2, 7 a little 2, and maybe a little 3. I don't know.
Use 7, maybe a little 3, maybe a little 4, but I mean, Saratoga Guido shows up, he'll win.
Race number 7, we'll start off with a video of Fierce Lady last time out, trying to get the 7. You know, the good news for this horse is they drew the rail today, so they can stop pretending she's a better horse rating. I know that she sort of got forced into rating when she had some early trouble. It was Navier's fault, 2 back, and she still won. Last time out, trying to get the 7. Naked Avenger really ran to beat her, and it was 7. I just think she might be a better horse when you let her rumble a little bit. Just let her roll on the front end. The scratch of Maya Way, who's going to run with her early? Just wire the field.
Now, here's where you do make a great point. The rail draw kind of takes it out of their hands, right?
Well, I think the problem happens a lot, and it happens, listen, it happens to me as a handicapper, so I can't criticize a trainer for doing it or an owner for doing it. we tend to overthink things sometimes in this game. And you know, sometimes you've got to dance with the girl that brought you
Yeah.
here. And I think that her most brilliant races were on the front end. I just let her roll.
I don't disagree. I think you have to. And it's funny how this is the circumstance for Fierce Lady, because Big Q was kind of compromised by the rail draw.
Well, look at Big Q winning 2 back, and you can talk about Big Q.
You liked her this day when she won this in a common gallop, and I have to wonder if, you know, she doesn't get the same kind of a setup today, if she's just not allowed to camp right off of Fierce Lady and get the jump. Johnny V's in to ride Mind Control, who we'll get to. Johnny picks up the mount here. I can envision.
She was bad last time.
Yeah, but you know what?
I know it was wet.
Andy, she was inside. It was wet. You know, Gary Gullo, I think, had concerns from the time the draw came out about.
No, here's what Gary's concern
track.
was. I can't believe that I'm 1-2 for $500,000. That was Gary's concern. Gary's concern was, I mean, that's got to be one of the biggest pots he's ever been in with any chance to win.
Well, any chance? It was 1-2.
1-2. So I wonder if that was a little bit more what he was worried about.
I wonder if she can just repeat.
Can you tell which of the horse's numbers and which of the odds?
Just repeat. No, they're terrible.
It's really terrible. Those
and
graphics.
they're all over.
They're graphics.
Santa Anita, Golden Gate, it's all over. It's brutal. I can envision this unfolding the way that Key Sense did. And if we think Fierce Lady had the problem with the 7, what's to say she doesn't have the problem with the 6.5?
Listen, you know,
She
I have a
won
lot of
going
love for
6.5,
Big
right?
Q, and I think
Yeah.
Big Q can win the race. I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah.
What about this horse here, our Freud of Mama? Well, the reason I say it is we're expecting to get some moisture. Starting after 2, it's not clear it's going to have a big impact, especially until very late. But there is a possibility there's some moisture in the track. And we know she likes it wet. Now, what I'm also going to say, though, and she was one of the craziest overlays in the history of racing last time, 23-1.
You guys all liked her last time.
She should have been 8-1. I like the second horse. David put her on top. I put her third. We all made a fortune in the race. I made more with her winning because I put her on top for more in the exactives. I was live for a bunch of the double with the second horse, but it never occurred to me she was 23-1. I figured she was like 6 or 8-1. And then when she won, I couldn't believe what price she was.
The day I blew up the pick 4, some adversary won the last race, right? I didn't use it?
I used the winner. The other half, the entry one, as I told David.
You know, my only problem with her is this. She got a pretty good pace to run into last time.
Well, she may not be fast enough.
Yeah.
The problem with her is she just might not be good enough. But I don't want to completely dismiss her.
No, I don't think you can.
I like her more than Playtone. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. I would probably.
But you also missed the party last time because she's in tougher. Presumably, Big Q will run better today. We'll see. Interesting race. Big Q needs to bounce back. We'll see if Fierce Lady.
But that's a good point too with Big Q. If there's some moisture in the track, who knows what happened last? Maybe she didn't like it last time.
Yeah. I wonder.
I do too.
Yeah. Race number 8. Boy, the toboggan came up. I'll tell you what's really cool about the toboggan.
Fantastic race.
It's got the winners of the 2017 and 2018 Woody Stevens and a horse who was the second choice of the Woody Stevens, and that's the horse we'll look at first, Mind Control, who won the Alan Jerkins last time, being the mighty Chance-a-Lot. Boy, by the way, did Johnny give this horse a good ride. And, you know, this is when Johnny really, I mean, I think he had the best Saratoga he's had in 20 years.
I don't disagree.
Since the days of old. And I don't mean that as a criticism, but he was sensational up there. He made and Travers Day, he was brilliant. This is a really good horse, Mind Control. And you got to say one thing on this horse. He always shows up.
He does.
He just always seems to run well.
And he gets his favorite distance.
Don't like the layoff number, and I think Greg would be the first one to say, our goal here isn't to win this race. We're hoping to point to the Carter and the Met Mile, and those are the races they want to win. Doesn't mean they want to win today. He is a trainer, doesn't have great numbers off layoffs. I just wanted to point that out. But this guy, other than the Woody Stevens, where he got a little lost and had a little trouble top of the stretch, and the Breeders' Cup Juvenile cares about that. This guy just always runs well.
Trainer numbers aren't great. He does get back to his favorite distance. I think the problem with him is you've never seen him come back from more than a 2-month break. And now the horse himself is also going to have to deal with being away for almost 5 months.
Well, he's also running in an extraordinarily difficult race.
Right.
You and I agree, and we disagree with David. I'm not sure he's going to be favored. I think this horse is going to be favored, American Anthem.
I agree.
And this is American Anthem, I believe, winning the 2017 Woody
Yes.
Stevens, actually. Thought I would bring all these back. This is the day that Bob Baffert won 14 races on a 12-race card at
Abel
Belmont.
Tasman, American Anthem,
Yeah,
More Spirit won the Met Mile that day, and somebody else.
I saw this horse break his maiden.
West Coast won the easy goer.
I saw this horse break his maiden. I was at Delmar.
You were there
It was the day that
for our boy.
that Annals of Time won the
Yep.
Hollywood Derby. He broke his maiden, maybe in the next race, as a matter of fact. He is the clear speed. We're going to show you a trainer stat. I think we have a trainer stat for Danny Gargan. Danny has sensational numbers off trainer switches. I think this horse is going to be favored. I really do.
I do too. And the problem for Mind Control and his backers are, if these horses both show up with their A race, American Anthem is going to.
Right, but let me ask you a question.
I don't know.
You
Yeah,
can't be
I don't
confident
know.
American Anthem's going to
I
show
don't
up in
disagree.
an A race.
I don't disagree.
I mean, he's a bit of an in and outer, and his recent form is more out than in. And the other thing is, I know that Rudy Brissett had him for one race last time. This horse has primarily been in the care of Bob Baffert. And I think Danny would agree, those stats were not built on horses that he took over from Bob Baffert.
Right. I would venture a guess this is the first one.
Right.
he's
So
taken from
I think
Bob
that
Baffert.
I think it's important because when you look at trainer changes, I wouldn't want to spend my career trying to improve horses from Bob Baffert. I think the question is whether or not he can get him back to his good races. He kind of lost it a bit for Bob. Not that his race in the Pat O'Brien was terrible, but he's going to have to run today. Let's take a look at my pick, Nicodemus. I love Nicodemus.
Never a bookmaker around when you need one. I knew you were picking him today. I knew you were taking a shot today,
Well,
and I don't blame you.
I like Nicodemus, and I'll tell you something about Nicodemus. Sonny Ridge didn't run bad in here either, by the way. I don't think he's American Anthem was a private purchase. I knew that. My friend just put it out. It's not, but I know it's a private purchase, regardless. First of all, we get moisture. He likes moisture. This is the Westchester. Let me tell you something. This is not a one-hit wonder. Source got very good for Linda. He couldn't get the 2 turns in the Excelsior. He ran extremely well in the True North, a race where the pace held together, and he was wide off the rail the whole way against the gold rail. His Jan Nehru, he had no chance in that race. Came back last night. Linda thought enough of this horse off of an extended layoff to run in the Cigar
Was
Mile.
cross-entered in the Fall Highway the next
Decided
day.
to
and
run
I
in-
couldn't. I was stunned.
I was too. That's what thought of it. I don't know that he'll get enough pace, but do not discount Nicodemus.
I
This is a
think
good
that's the
horse.
worry, right? You got to figure American Anthem's going to get in front of these horses. Mind Control's going to be laying
I
a
just
couple
don't want
lengths off.
American Anthem at 2-1, and I'll
Okay.
take Nicodemus in the 4 to 6 to 1 range.
You'll get
What about
that.
Still Having Fun, who won the Woody Stevens in 2018?
Third behind McKinsey and Identity Politics in the Malibu.
Right. Now, in all fairness,
This
he's
was
a horse.
This was some incinerated pace, right?
Yes, this was a wacky pace. I mean, World
World
of
of
Trouble,
Trouble right there.
and the promises fulfilled.
Yep.
The pace. I mean, this is when you think about what the 2 horses that were in front did, the number of Grade 1s they've won on growth dirt and turf in
It's like
subsequent races.
6 or 7.
It's a whole bunch, and he got a great setup. He's
did.
also not in his good form, but in his day he was good. He just has some digging to get much
Yeah,
pace.
I mean, I think you said it best. He's not in his good form. I think I probably worry about that a little bit more than the fact that he's not going to have that much pace to run into, but he's kind of tailed off as well.
It's a bad combination. Race number 9, I had a goofy idea in race number 9. Rick Schosberg, they scratched one shot forever. Now, I don't know why the horse got scratched. It's going to take a shot. You and I into the same horse for Gary Gullo. Have at it, because we're going to have to go.
I don't have much to say. First time Lasix.
Well, you picked it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Dropping down. Gives the horse a little bit of a break. Listen, I want to use 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Don't you think this horse is the speed now with the
Yeah,
one
he should
scratch
be.
in here? Well,
He
I think
should
that's
be.
a factor. Now, the horse was the best part of the racetrack last time, was chasing 3 wide, and people were staying off the rail. But I just thought I'd give the shot drop down for Gary Gullo. Titans Will's the horse to beat.
Yeah.
Having said that, Orlando knows getting this horse from Brad Cox. And the horse disappointed last time on a sloppy sealed track, and the track could be wet at this point. This horse runs back to its race 2 back. It's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, Zilla's given Orlando Noda a couple of horses, and this is just a trainer transfer. There was no purchase here. Yeah, I mean, I think you have the, like I said, I want to use 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, try and get alive into the late pick 4, late pick 5, and hope for that. I thought the 3 Lucky E wasn't impossible. He ran this horse on a turf first time, came back off the long break. Do you think this horse stunk off of
Yes.
8, 7 months?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
I'm a little more
100 to 1.
forgiving than you are.
Yeah. I don't. You bet slow horses. I don't. We got to go.
See ya.
Been a pleasure. We'll be back tomorrow. We're racing Monday, by the way.
Yes.
We are racing Monday for Dr. Martin Luther King Day, so there will be 2 more racing, 9 races.